What's that sound? It's for amusement only, the EM and Bingo Pinball Podcast.
Welcome back to For Amusement Only. This is Nick Baldridge. Talking about payout again tonight. Wanted to talk about another Gottlieb payout game. This time it's 1935's Liberty Bell. Liberty Bell is a pretty interesting game. Let's go over the gameplay here. You put in your money and you get 10 shots. With your first shot, ideally, you'll land in the uppermost pocket, right at the top of the playfield, which is marked as a skill hole. It's worth 5,000 points. With your additional balls, you're trying to land in two identically valued pockets littered throughout the playfield. If you do those things, then you will earn a certain amount of coins. Now, this game doesn't mention how much you earn, but I'm sure it's fairly similar to yesterday's topic, match play. Up to 20 coins was the value on that one. Now, on this one, there's a couple of interesting notes. The first is to disguise the straight-up gambling nature of this particular machine. Gottlieb put a mint vendor on the front of the game. Now, this was a common tactic for folks who were trying to show that the games were, in fact, not gambling. You earn something every time that you put in money. In fact, its primary function is to vend you a roll of mints. It's not to play a game. That's ancillary. No one cares about that. They just want the mints, obviously. This is one of my favorite little tricks, along with the skill lane in later Bally one-ball horse race games, where there's no skill at all involved. It just captures 4 balls. This ranks right up there because it's just such an obvious ploy to completely skirt the letter of the law, but it's not actually skirting the spirit of the law, which is to prevent having gambling devices. So, in this case, the vendor itself is of particular interest, and that's because David Gottlieb put Liberty Bell on this game in honor of Charles Fay, the inventor of the original slot machine, Liberty Bell. IPDB also notes that in addition, the mint vendors carried the Liberty Bell design. This can lead to misidentifying other Gottlieb games that also have this mint vendor. As an example, they say to see another game from 1935, Gottlieb's Plus and Minus. Now, the mint vendor was actuated by a solenoid, and it was made out of cast aluminum. It was invented by Edmund Fay and was used primarily on slot machines, although its design allowed for its use on other devices such as this pinball machine. Its view window was supposed to permanently display 5 packages of mints to give the impression that the vendor was always full. Pretty neat idea. Now, looking at the playfield, there are, again, 2 separate areas. However, you enter from the same spot every time. There's not actually a way to enter the lower playfield area straight off the plunge. Now, the playfield design has a Liberty Bell up at the top, right underneath the skill shot, which instead of being called the skill hole is called the skill shot, and arranged in a horseshoe pattern, pointing up. You have the various trap holes, and then on the lower playfield where the values repeat, you have a horseshoe pointing downwards. There is a way to get a dead ball. There's a trough down at the bottom marked out. So you want to be careful about that. Ideally, you'll have balls in a few different matches since you have 10 shots to try and get this done. If you discount one that goes in the skill shot, then you're down to 9. One ball, there's no way to match, but the other 8 you could use to match. So those are pretty good odds, although the playfield design makes it so it's rather unlikely that even with 8 tries, or 9, just giving it to you there, 9 tries, that you'll actually get matches. Now, I had talked yesterday about the cabinet design of Match Play. This has the same cabinet graphics on the left and right hand side as on Match Play, but the cabinet design itself is slightly different. The payout drawer, instead of being lockable, is not lockable, and the front of the game is extended a bit. Now, I'm not sure if that was just to contain additional hardware, or why exactly it needed to be extended. The coin slot is on the left, and you've got a lifter and plunger on the right. Current is carried to the mint vendor by a little cutout in the bottom front of the machine, in which are mounted 3 individual leaf blade switches. They don't have contact points, it's just the blades themselves which carry the current. And when you plug the mint vendor in, it basically has 3 other leaf contacts, and they just nestle together, and through the use of pressure, the electricity has a path to flow. Now, the one pictured on IPDB does not have the mint vendor attached. And who knows why that is, if it was removed from the location because they didn't like it, or didn't care for it, or didn't need it, or if it was removed to put on another game, which is certainly a possibility. Now, the mint vendor is shown on the promotional image or on the flyer is humongous. So I could see why someone might want to remove that, because it takes up a huge amount of real estate in an area where you kind of need to stand. It doesn't come out as far as the coin slide, but it comes out pretty far, and it's right beside the lifter and plunger. I mean, directly beside. So I think, this is a cool piece, but I feel like the gameplay of Match Play would be a bit better than this game. It's hard to say without having played either, though. So, there is that. Well, that's all for tonight. Thank you very much for joining me. My name again is Nick Baldridge. You can reach me at foramusementonlypodcast@gmail.com, or you can call me on the Bingos line. That's 724-BINGOS1, 724-246-4671. You can listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Pocket Casts, via RSS, on Facebook, on Twitter at Bingo Podcast. You can follow me on Instagram at Bingo Podcast as well. Or you can listen to us on our website, which is foramusementonly.libsyn.com. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll talk to you next time.